Anytime I think, yeah, today was a productive day, it always ends up that I'm actually just on Tumblr all morning, which is not productive. It's exactly the opposite of productivity.
Vlog every damn day.
Hello Jamaians, I'm still recovering from my cold thing, and today I'm going to be talking about what is it I'm talking about? I forgot the episode name already because my head is in a fog. For Once Upon a Thursday, today I'm going to be talking about the episode That Still Small Voice. This was a really awesome episode about Jiminy Cricket, and there were a lot of big reveals and kind of big cheesy reveals in this episode that I thought were really cool. First off, we learned that Jiminy Cricket actually was not always a cricket, that he used to be a human just like all the rest of us. He was a thief for his parents. His parents conned him into going into several things, and Jiminy wanted to break free of it, so he went to Rumpelstiltskin, who is, we found again, getting into the lives of almost every single character throughout this story. This is not a show about Snow White, this is a show about Rumpelstiltskin. Let's just be honest here. So Rumpelstiltskin gives Jiminy a vial of some goo that he's supposed to sprinkle on his parents, and it will make everything better. Well, his parents con him into using this goo on a family. Unfortunately, the couple that they gave the potion to got turned into dolls. Don't know why they were dolls, but they got turned into dolls. They ended up finding out that the people that they used the potion on actually had a kid. So basically, this whole convoluted episode leads to Jiminy wishing upon a star, and it turns out that the Blue Fairy has been listening to his wishes all along. Jiminy wants to try to bring the couple back, but he can't, and the Blue Fairy can't do that for him. So what she does is she listens to his true wish, which is to be free. Jiminy has always liked cricket since he was a young boy, so the Blue Fairy turns him into a cricket as well so that he can be free and follow his conscience and not have to steal and con people like his parents want him to do all the time. So the Blue Fairy asks Jiminy to hang out with the young boy who belonged to the parents that were turned into dolls, and it turns out that this young boy was Geppetto. What huge plot twist on the Pinocchio story, which is so cool to me that Jiminy was like a family guardian for Geppetto this whole time, and that's why he was always there with Geppetto. So I thought that was really cool and like a very nice way to tie that all in. In Human World, Emma has been deputized by the sex god Sheriff. Regina has convinced Archie Hopper to tell Henry that all of his fairy tale beliefs are a huge delusion and he needs to stop doing it. Henry is very upset by this and goes to an abandoned mine that is starting to collapse right as Emma was deputized. So because Emma is changing things in the town are happening that should not be happening. So the mine starts to collapse, and Henry goes in to find out what's there because he thinks that something big is going on. He ends up getting trapped because he's an idiot, and Archie goes in to save him, but the mine collapses again and both of them get stuck in there. And basically Henry is still a moron throughout the entire episode, and they get rescued, but Henry, through his stupidity, ends up teaching Archie that he is really a good person and that he wants to follow his conscience and he wants to be the person that he wants to be. So when they get rescued and they come out of the mine, which was super cheesy if I might add, Archie tells Regina straight up to her face that he's gonna keep treating Henry however he wants and she's just gonna have to deal with it, because if she tries to take everything away from him, what he's gonna do is when Emma tries to get the custody battle for Henry, which it's looking like that might happen, he's told Regina that he will say that Regina is an unfit parent and that Emma is a better parent than she ever will be. So he's basically blackmailing Regina so that he can keep treating Henry. And I think a part of Archie knows that he is Jiminy Cricket and that everything that Henry is saying is true, but I think he's just trying to mask it with something else. So this entire episode, as I said, is totally convoluted. There were a lot of things that were going on. I liked the small twists in the story to the Pinocchio story and to the Geppetto Jiminy Cricket story. I loved the idea that Jiminy was actually a person. I also am liking that Rumpelstiltskin is so involved in everyone's story, and I'm waiting to find out why that is, if it's just because he is supposed to just be a big character that has never really been a character within Disney, that he's, maybe they're trying to just say like, oh, he's always been in the background, we've just never noticed him, or if they're just trying to do like this cool Once Upon a Time plot twist thing that they like to do. I will say at the very end of the episode, there was like a big reveal that seemed kind of like a dud to me, is Regina had found something at the mine site, and it was like a little shard of glass it looked like, and at the very end of the episode she dropped it into the mine shaft, which led down to an elevator that had fallen down and collapsed. Which, that was a really cheesy scene too, when Jiminy, or I suppose when Archie was grabbing on to Henry's foot with his umbrella. That was like a really lame shot to me for some reason. It was just so over dramatized, and it didn't have to be, I think. So the glass drops down to the bottom of the mine shaft and collapses onto this field of green that looked really pretty and mysterious and CGI, and there was glass everywhere. And it was like supposed to be the big reveal because they played the big dramatic music, but it was like, okay, a bunch of glass on the ground in a mine shaft, big deal. It wasn't even really a big deal to me. Like, I wish that they would have just come up with something better, or that they would have just like shown her dropping whatever it was and been like, it was just a shard of glass, it's not even that big of a deal. Like, what could it possibly be? Who knows? I want to know, because it seemed like not a big deal to me, but I'm sure that it actually is a big deal. But that's just me. Finally, Mary Margaret and David are kind of doing this love bond thing, and I think that they are falling for each other, but they are not able to because David's real wife, Catherine, is that what her name is? She is kind of the biggest cock blocker in the whole world and is kind of messing everything up for Mary Margaret and David. But I feel like there's gonna be something that's gonna happen in the future, because Mary Margaret turned in her letter of resignation. So I don't know if that's because she's intending to actually like go after David, and the reason why she's quitting is because she's like wanting to shack up with him and like do the deed, and she doesn't want to have her job jeopardized because of it, or if it's just because she's like getting so emotionally involved that she just has to pull away before she commits herself to him and she needs to get away from him. I think it's a combination of both, personally, because I think that she really wants to be with him, and I think that she really, really likes him, and that she would be willing to do anything to be with him. Also, there's this weird conflict going on with Regina and Emma, where Regina seems to be respecting Emma now that she's deputized, but she still doesn't like her, but there's this weird dynamic that they're getting along now, and I kind of like that. I think it's very interesting now that Emma is actually working for Regina, and I'm wondering how that's going to play out in the future episodes, if Regina is going to try to use that as another hook to be like, stay away from Henry or I'm going to fire you. But then I think that Emma would be fine either way. Who knows, but yeah, those have been my thoughts on this episode. Let me know what your thoughts on this episode were, if you have seen it, and if you have not, then I suggest that you see it, because it was a really cool twist on the story. And also tell me what you're thinking about Rumpelstiltskin's involvement up until this point, and don't spoil anything for me, because you guys like to do that. So just at this point, to here, tell me what your thoughts are on Rumpelstiltskin's involvement in everything so far. And I will see you guys all next week when I review the next episode, and I will see you guys every single day for the rest of this week, and whenever I decide to stop vlogging every damn day. Peace out. Take a mouse. Ooh.